All right, how's it going, everyone? It's another Finn stream. It is Saturday evening, and I'm on ICC. I'm just gonna play some Blitz chess, probably 3 minute. I'm thinking that's what I've been doing for most of my streams. The 3 minute games get in a lot of games in a short period of time. Hope you guys are doing well whenever you're watching this, either on the live stream now or maybe tomorrow or some other day. If you happen to tune in and you missed the live stream, that's okay. It was a pretty impromptu stream once again. But I hope everyone is having a good weekend and is out and about doing activities or staying home and relaxing if that's what you want to do. I've had a pretty relaxed weekend so far. I've been following the US Championship and also Norway Chess, two tournaments that are heating up real quick. And I've also been enjoying the weather here in Minnesota. Yeah, we've got some nice weather on our hands. Although Prince, the famous artist, and also the one who was known as the artist formerly known as Prince at one time, unfortunately died a few days ago. So that's been very depressing for the entire state of Minnesota. Only 57 years old. Very talented guy and also a philanthropist too. I don't think a lot of people knew that about him. But that was kind of a bummer from a couple days ago. But we're here to have some fun and play some Blitz chess. Just check in to see who's in the chat. All right. How's it going, Kobe, Arthur, Richie, Tyler, Baggy Pants Man, Braffin, and also Phi3SI. Already got the fire emojis going. Audio, video sound good? Can you see me well? We've already got our first question. Do I have a girlfriend? No, I do not. Not right now. I'm single. It only took us a minute or two into the stream for that question to be launched my way. And we got the sheep icons out. All right. I like to see it. The sheep icon is the new fire emoji. That's my take on what's happened lately. I went back and watched a little bit of the match with Nicholas from last Saturday. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It was entertaining. And there were so many fire emojis and sheep icons, I couldn't keep track of them all. Too many to count. Hundreds and hundreds of messages containing those. It was awesome. How's it going, Gwen? Alexander, Michael. We've got our faithful mod Anton in the chat. James, what's up? How do you rebalance yourself when you're on tilt? Good question. I think you just have to tell yourself that there are always more chess games to be played, and the result of one single game is pretty much meaningless in the long run. That's the only way to approach it. Also, the faster the time control you play, the more likely you are to be affected by tilt, if that makes sense. I think when you're playing Bullet and it's just one game after another, just boom, boom, boom. As you might have seen recently on my Road to 2800 live stream, my opponent got really tilted at one point. It was pretty evident. When you're playing games that fast, you have to make an extra effort to recenter yourself when something bad happens, because you just don't have the time to properly, orient yourself psychologically. When you're playing like a tournament, on the other hand, you might play 1 or 2 games a day maximum, and that break in between the games can help a lot. If you're strong mentally, you can just basically hit the reset button, forget about what happened the previous day, and focus on the next day's game. So online, though, with the really fast Blitz and Bullet games, it's hard. Yeah, you gotta get used to the fact that you're gonna take losses, and you have to have a short memory, as I said on one of the previous streams. Forget about the result quickly. Thanks, Fernando. We're gonna get started here real soon. I will not be playing classical on this stream, Mark, but I do want to play standard games. I'm going to resume that series. I've been taking a little bit of a break from those games for the past couple weeks. Good question, Atlas. That could make a good topic for a video, formulating plans in closed positions. Jens, you ready? Yes, Sean, I did like Prince. I wasn't a super fan or anything, but he was an icon here in Minnesota. I've listened to so much of his music since I was a kid. John, are you ever going to do a match with Jerry? That's up to Jerry. I've told him I would, but he said no. So Until he changes his mind about playing other streamers, I think almost certainly there will not be a match. Not at all, M. Piazza. How's it going, Renato? And how's it going to Atrophied, aka Crazy H? Yes, Saja, the Europeans are probably insomniacs if they are watching this stream right now, because I realize it's the middle of the night. What's that old saying? 3 a.m. is too late or too early to do anything? So Zaha says it's 3:18 a.m. where he's at. Do I think Caruana wrapped up the tournament today? I do not think so. Wesley So is lurking a half point behind, referring to the U.S. Championship, of course. Caruana looks unstoppable at the moment, but 2 rounds to go. I think Caruana plays... Who does he play? I saw his pairings, but I can't remember who he plays. I think Kamsky and someone else. Maybe Chandra in the last round. So he has white against Kamsky tomorrow. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But if he wins or draws that game, I think he's going to be in the driver's seat. I would expect him to beat Akshat Chandra even with black, if necessary, in the final round. If he wins against Kamsky, I think that's a virtual wrap. I don't see Wesley So going 2-0 in his remaining games. Even 1.5 might not be good enough for Wesley So, unfortunately, because I could legitimately see Fabiano beating Kamsky with white and then beating Akshat Chandra with black in the final round. No, Mark, I studied business when I was in college. I was a business admin major, but I was in law school thereafter for a short while. All right, let's get a game going. We've got over 100 people watching. Thank you guys for joining. Let's play a 3-minute game. Ooh, we got a Grandmaster right off the bat. Sauerkraut. This guy's tough. I played Skinny against him before. I'm going to play something a little bit different this time around. This guy's experienced. If I can get him into time pressure, I like my chances. But yeah, he's definitely an aware blitz player. Like, he knows what's going on. Queen A4 check. Okay, I'm going to play knight BD7. Oftentimes you have to fianchetto the dark square bishop to try to win back this pawn on D5. It's a delicate procedure, but someone's got to do it, right? I think A6 is the idea here. So threatening B5. I think I want to go B6 now, but let me just try to remember. I can't go B5 because he can take it, is the thing. What about knight B6? Knight B6 is possible, but something feels wrong about it. Yeah, so let's go pawn B6. Preparing bishop B7. I want to fire against this pawn. He might play rook E1, hitting E7 a couple times. This is Grandmaster Slavko Chichak. Slavko Chichak. Okay, I could play B5 now, followed by knight B6. That doesn't win the pawn back. Knight C5, maybe? Yeah, let's go knight C5. He might play B4 and try to come at me with the B pawn, but we'll find out. So I'm threatening knight takes D5. The mantra in 3-minute has to be, think of the game more like a bullet game than a blitz game. Someone posted that on my channel a while back, and I 100% agree. You can't afford to treat this like a 5-minute game. You're going to lose on time. And you guys know I'm terrible with my time management. In 3-minute, this is like my worst time control. 3-minute, no increment. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so knight E4 I'm thinking, or maybe even just go back. Let's go knight E4. I know he might just let me take here, but I am threatening to take and then take D5. So perhaps I can still win the pawn back. Okay, we're going to have a trade. And now what? Rook E1? Something like that. So bishop takes, queen takes. He has queen takes E7 at the very end. So do I want to play something like knight D6? I think I do. Yeah, let's do that. He's got pressure on E7 and D6, but I am hitting his bishop now. If bishop B3, perhaps rook E8, prophylactic move, getting ready for knight B5. It's not a tragedy if black remains down a pawn when white has these double D pawns. I think we can survive such scenarios. Rook E8 is a helpful move overall. If he takes with the bishop, I will take with the queen, and a trade into that endgame is okay. This move. So knight B5, though, what's happening there? Queen here, take on D5. I think I got to go with that. Knight b5, can he do some crazy d6 move? Nah, no way that works. We got to do this. So queen b4, and now bishop takes d5. Hopefully this works out well. I've regained my pawn. Otherwise, if that pawn had survived on d5, the c6 square would have been annoyingly weak. Okay, so take, he's going to take with a queen. I think that's a virtual guarantee. How about e6? E6 looks sensible. E6, a4, though? A little annoying. I think I should take first. Yeah, let's take first. And then we're going to play e6. So d4 is weak. I want to try to win that pawn if I can. Yeah, he defends. Rook c8 or queen d5 or something else. Let's go queen d5. This endgame should be level. After a trade, I might be threatening knight takes d4. Like, can I do this now? I think I can. That might, in fact, win me a pawn. Rook takes, bishop takes e5. Okay, so I'm going to be up a pawn. He's going to get some activity, though. Undoubtedly. Let's watch the time. Watch that time. Okay. So if I take, he's going to come over here, is the thing. Okay, well, let's do that. Guess we're just going to give that away. Let's play g5. Let's push our d-pawn. Which maybe could be a pain for him to stop, now that I think about it. I'm going to give him this h-pawn, actually. Let's see how he intends to stop this guy. Ah, that's what he's going to do. Okay, well. It's annoying. I think I got to come over here now. Let him take e5. My d-pawn is semi-dangerous, but is it dangerous enough? Let's go here. Stop rook d8. He's lower on time than I am right now. Time scramble looming. Yeah, he resigned. Wow. So we won that with a gamble in the rook ending, trying to get the king over, and he just gave up right here. Is it truly lost? Yeah, I guess he can't stop the d-pawn now. Probably his previous move was a big blunder. Yeah, the d-pawn's strong. I didn't intend for that to happen, but I kind of knew that with his advancing b-pawn, my best bet for counterplay might be to push my d-pawn, and I can't do that until I dislodge this rook. His rook on d7 is standing too well right behind the pawn, so I tried to bring the king over and harass his rook, and it worked out. Objectively, the position should be a draw. 4 versus 4 in a rook ending, even though there's competing passed pawns and a couple other factors, it should be a draw. Yeah, here, rook b1. If I play king e6, he can play rook b5, he gets behind the pawn, and I'm toast. So that was a way I could go wrong. But rook b1, on the other hand, pitched the e-pawn, but the king comes up. Yeah, and that d-pawn is just a beast. Rook g8, king e7. He gave a check here. Best is b7, whereupon I would play d2. And then he queens. Okay, so the best he has is a transition into a rook plus 3 pawns versus queen plus 1 pawn position. And can he go after my h-pawn? He might be able to do that. I mean, it would be very hard to win against 3 pawns with his king being in a fortress-like position. So probably it should be drawn even here. But okay, so we win the first game. Thank you, Mr. Poleron. He says, greetings from Peru, a lovely country. Couldn't he push the 3 pawns in that case? You mean in this case? Diseased moss? It would be dangerous, even with me only having a queen. It's dangerous for him to expose his king. His best bet here is probably a fortress of some type. But yeah, I mean, if he gets like his rook to f4 and then starts pushing his h-pawn and gradually lurking up the board, I wouldn't feel so comfortable. Unfortunately, in 3-minute, all these endings are going to be decided by the clock. 3-minute, no increment. You're not going to see any deep endgame technique. Just not enough time. Thank you, Jelly Boy. Glad you got into a stream for the first time. Liam asks, what do I think of Yasser? Yasser's a cool guy. Yeah, he seems cool. He's got a lot of chess knowledge, that's for sure. The dude was at the top of the chess world for a while, back in the 80s. And I very much enjoy his book, Chess Duels, where he talks about his games with the world champions. And he seems like a real nice guy, just a gentle soul, if you will. I don't know why he mispronounces Caruana's name, by the way. That's something that bothers me. But if that's the only thing that bothers me about Yasser, then I can't really quibble too much. But for some reason, he pronounces certain names very strangely. Like, he says, like, Caruana, which I've never heard anyone pronounce Caruana like Caruana outside of Yasser. And yet he insists on doing it. Whatever. Jesse, I'm kind of a Twins fan, not a hardcore one by any means. When we started the season 0-9, that was quite depressing. I'll go to a game every once in a while. I make it to like a game every 2 years, maybe. Caruana, yeah, exactly. Any thoughts on the chess book, Move First, Think Later? Awesome book. Printed by New in Chess. Came out a few years ago. Really cool and insightful book. I agree with a lot of it. He takes some well-known chess writers and some well-known pieces of chess wisdom to task in that book. Like, he's particularly hard on Jeremy Silman, who is a very popular chess author, of course. Wrote How to Reassess Your Chess and Silman's complete endgame course. And he has some harsh words for him. And Piazza, you gotta chill with the questions into my personal life. About relationships and such. I mean, I'm happy to answer certain questions, but dude, you gotta ask some different questions. Andrew, I'm like 5'9" to 5'10", somewhere in that range. Like, probably 5'9.5". I haven't noticed that, Joe. Good luck, Fred. Good luck in the country playoffs. Fred played in his first tournament a while back, and he was very excited with his performance. He did well. I think you said you used the Scandi in a couple of your games, right, Fred? I believe that was you. What's your favorite sport to play? Golf or basketball? More so golf nowadays. I don't really play much basketball anymore. Too old and injury prone, man. Nope, I didn't finish law school. I was only there for one semester. I decided I didn't want to be a lawyer. Although I did get something published in my law review there, in one of our school's law review. The Water Law Review. It was about well rights. Very exciting. You can actually look it up if you if you really search Google hard. All right, let's play another game. Let's get in the hunt here. Playing some 3-minute. I'm over 2,400. That last game was pretty fun, pretty close. In this line, you're down a pawn for a little while. Like, you could see white had those double D pawns, but it's hard to hold on to the D5 pawn in particular. Atlas says, do you have a good swing, John, referring to golf? And do you need a golf teacher? I mean, I'm sure my swing could be better. But I just play for fun. I'm not really worried about getting better at golf or anything. And honestly, in the past couple years, I haven't been able to play nearly as many rounds as I would like. Oh, is Tall in the chat? Tall Baron? You guys should go check out Tall's channel. He recently came out with a YouTube channel. He's posted some videos. I think he's got about 25 videos on there, Tall? You can confirm, of course. He was doing a live stream earlier today. Okay, car nap. I'm going to play bishop f5. I'm not going to snatch that pawn on c4. I'm just going to play this solid. Let's play knight bd7. I mean, I might take the pawn, but for the time being, it's probably not necessary, so let's just hang out. I think Bishop e7 is maybe the most... Nah, let's go bishop d6. We'll castle. And he jumps in. Okay, so if I take and then play knight here, what are you going to do? Are you going to play knight f3? I'm going to play this way because there's a trap, right? Like if he goes f4, there's knight e3 or even queen b6. So if knight f3, I think I'm going to play bishop e4 and attempt to win his e-pawn. I say attempt because I'm not sure it's going to work out, but I will do my best. So after knight f3, bishop e4, the threat will be bishop takes f3, followed by knight g takes e5. The only problem with this strategy is if it backfires, I think I'm going to have a bad position because this knight does not belong on g4 if I'm unable to win the e5 pawn. So, to be determined whether this works. And Tall Baron has the greatest name in chess, by the way. Don't you guys agree? Tall, your name is amazing. Okay, let's take... I gotta do it. I'm not sure what his point is here. I guess he can take g4 and avoid losing the pawn, but his structure is going to be a mess after that. It's really an unpleasant structure for him. So he's pitching the pawn. These moves are all forced for me. I wonder if he's going to do something with f5. I think I'm happy to take back this way. I don't want f5 to come and just wreck my structure. Okay, so now if knight e5, he has f4. I can give a check and then knight c4. Oh no, check, he has bishop d4, so that's no good. I'm going to play this, even though this looks very sketchy. And then I'm going to try to go f6 and bring the knight back out through f7. I didn't anticipate this continuation with the pawn coming up to f5. And I know this looks extravagant, but I am up a pawn, and if I can keep the position closed enough to reroute, then that extra pawn should be meaningful going forward. All right. Almost 200 viewers now. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday or Sunday, wherever you may be. Okay, knight f7 or rook e8. I'm thinking rook e8. Rook e8 looks good. I'm content with further trade, so bring it on, Carnap, if you want to swap. I don't think he will, but... I'm not going to play knight f7 yet because I think his idea is to creep closer with queen to g6. Although, with a knight coming to e5 right quick, I think this is completely fine. So, maybe I shouldn't even be concerned about that. Yeah, in fact, let's just do it. Maybe knight d6 to come if he doesn't change up his strategy. Yeah, knight d6 looks pretty good. I don't think I have to fear sacrifices on d5. I somehow do not believe those. And I hope he'll be under a minute soon. Yeah, he's hanging tough. Rook e7, maybe bishop a3 is annoying. Queen a5. Queen a5 could be a good way to force further trades. Let's do that. Because then I'm hitting the rook on e1. I'm also hitting the pawn on a2. My knight on d6 is useful in helping to defend. Ah, yeah, good move. Good move by him. I think I gotta come here now. If rook e1, I can play queen takes e1, though. Is a nice idea. I'm still threatening the a-pawn. Also, I could play knight f8 if need be. Again, probably a good move on his part. I'm going to play a little defense. I know his rook can come in here, but I'm not sure what else to do for the time being. So let's just try to play off of his time and stay solid. His queen coming into e6 in the future is something I have to watch, though. Okay, let's go here, because this eyes his rook on e7. It's going to tie him down to some degree. Queen e6, nope. Okay, let's just play a useful move. Let's go here. Maybe the knight coming into e4 is helpful. Yeah, in fact, let's do that. Take here now. He has rook e2. But I can stay active and annoying with my queen. Let's come here, line up against his queen. I'm happy to take control of the e-file. And he has hardly any time left as well. This looks like bad news for him. Let's go... Now let's go here. We'll keep control of c5. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, he's going to go Sacktown on d5, but shouldn't be enough. Let's give a check right here. Just a disruptive check for the time being. Yeah, and he resigned. So, intriguing battle of two knights versus two bishops in that one. So, my idea with taking on e5, bishop takes e5. Note that I cannot take with the knight because of d takes e5 and he'd be forking the two pieces. So, bishop takes e5 followed by knight to g4. It's risky. I mean, this is a zero-sum position. I feel like only one side's going to come out on top. It's not going to work out to equality or something from here. So knight g4, and if he played f4, as I was saying, knight e3 check is good. So is queen b6 probably. But knight e3 would fork the queen and the rook. So he was obliged to play knight f3 to hold the pawn, and then bishop e4. And my idea is very concrete. Just try to eliminate the knight, take on e5. So the engine thinks h3 is fine. Bishop takes, e takes. It likes the way he played it. f4, knight g6. All my moves are forced. Yeah, so he should continue with f5, trying to break up my structure. That makes good sense, because if f5, e takes f5, he takes d5, and then probably the open position should give him lots of play with the two bishops. Yeah, I could see that working out well. Let me just show that continuation, because I think that's instructive. If you're white here, you got the two bishops and a pawn less, you got to play to open the position. So this, and that forces me to do something because of the tension here and here. It's a double attack. I mean, I could try to keep the position closed like so, but even this, there's stuff for him to chew on. Rook e1, hit the pawn. So yeah, a continuation like this would provide a lot more play than the game continuation. Let's see how that works out. Here, I get to take with the e-pawn, so now after f5, he's only attacking the knight. It's not as explosive of a move as f5 on the previous, or 2 moves ago. I play knight h8. Yeah, bizarre looking move. I wanted to avoid this, though. The engine thinks this is no big deal, but I didn't want to take on the doubled pawns, double isolated. He can also play queen g4 and maybe get compensation here. So knight h8. Yeah, the position might be one of dynamic equality. You can see the engine eval here. I'm still up a pawn, but then it starts to like black a little bit once I start getting my knight out of the corner. Interesting game, though. Not going to analyze these games in depth, but just give you guys an overview. Someone asked a question about being 2100, but having trouble playing online. I think a lot of people have the opposite problem these days. They're so used to playing online that they have trouble playing on a physical board. So maybe just try to do one of the other, you know, like try to play more online if you're used to over the board chess. If you want to get good at online, try to expose yourself to the 2D board. Thanks, Chris. What did Tal say? Isn't it like the middle of the night in Israel? How are you awake, Tal? Who am I rooting for to win the U.S. championship? Well, I would like Wesley So to win, because he's a local now. But also I think Caruana has been playing well. I think he deserves it. So Caruana or So. Woofsai, if you're interested in lessons, check out the Finns FAQ. I think I didn't post a link, but I'll put a link in the description, or you can send me a message here on YouTube. My favorite color is green. Followed closely by blue. Hank is stuck at 1600. Hard to say without seeing your games, Hank, how you could possibly improve. Because you're at a rating where, I mean, you might be doing some general stuff wrong, but I generally hesitate to give specific advice to slightly higher rated players. So you might have individual problems that I would have to address by looking at your games more closely. Thank you for posting the Kazi, the Finns FAQ, Anton. What about Nakamura? Not a huge fan of Nakamura, so I mean, I like his style, and I actually picked him to win the candidates and win the U.S. Championship, but as of now, it doesn't look like he's going to. He had a draw with Onashuk today that basically put him out of the running. But, I mean, Nakamura's not a guy I'm going to root for in every single event. I just think prior to these two tournaments, he had a very good chance of winning. But unfortunately for him, it doesn't look like he's going to. Tal, if you're sick, you should get some sleep and take your vitamins. Downs Master, that's a good question. I think a lot of people would like to know the answer to that question. If you're bad at chess, what should you do? You can watch my videos for one thing. Yeah, sure thing, Nit. He says he has a 13-day streak on Chessable. I have a 33-day streak. I'm very proud of that right now. I have a 33-day streak going. That's right, Sam. It has been a while since I played a tournament. I'm kind of getting the itch again. I haven't played since January. Been pretty busy with other stuff. Who do you think has the best chance to steal the championship from Carlsen in the foreseeable future? Probably Caruana. I mean, I know Karyakin is the challenger, but I doubt that Karyakin will take the title from Magnus. It would seem kind of weird if he did, to be honest. Not that the match won't be competitive, but objectively it feels like Caruana is the strongest after Magnus right now. He's right in the hunt in every tournament he's playing, and he's on the cusp of winning the U.S. Championship if everything goes as it should for him in the final 2 rounds. And he was within a whisker of winning the candidates tournament. Sure thing, Leon. Glad you caught the stream. All right, I'm going to play another game. Kyborg 95. Okay, this guy's tough. I think this guy is a GM, even though he has IM here. Is this Kodrich? Yeah, Dennis Kodrich. Let's play a London like I was against Niklas. I haven't tested this opening since, but why not, you know? Let's give it a shot. Maybe he'll go for a quick e5. Try to break up our structure. We're going to try to stay solid. He's going to bring his knight to f5, kind of inventive, it seems. Let's go bishop e2. I'm going to delay the development of this guy for a moment just to see how he plays the position. Not at all familiar with what he's doing right now, so... Okay, so if I take... We can get some trades, but nothing doing there. He's trying to crush me on the king side in, like, King's Indian style. He said something in the chat. Am I online? I don't know what that means. We're playing online, so yeah, you probably are. All right, so he wants after my bishop on h2. I probably got to take. And I assume he'll take with the knight. Yeah, he's got a little pressure there. Okay, let's go bishop g3. So if f4 take, I'm going to play bishop h4 thereafter. Pretty interesting setup he chose against the London. All right, so let's take here. Open a thing or two up. Open a line or two, right? So if knight h4... he's got some ways he can play against that, like f4. But maybe that's okay. Let's do it. I want to try to attack these guys before they get too comfortable. He could play knight d to f6 if he wants, whereupon I should probably just develop like knight a3 or knight d2. Let's go knight a3. Maybe playing knight b5 could be pesky to him somewhere. I got to be vigilant about f4, though. That's a move that could derail my position quickly if he gets that in. I shouldn't be drinking coffee right now, but I am. It's almost 9 o'clock p.m. I'll be up for quite a while, though. Yeah, queen h5, annoying. So I gotta create counter threats right away. He's threatening f4. Maybe I gotta go here myself. Retreat. Knight takes e5 is an idea, which he defended against with that last move. Okay. I'm under pressure. I'm not liking this position. Queen on h5, pressure on h2, but it's approaching a bullet game, so maybe I can hang on. What do you guys think? Scandy Swindler? Scandy Swindler this time around? Got the fire emojis going. I'm kind of worried about rook f6 to h6 if he does that somewhere. Knight c4 or knight b5. Probably knight c4, huh? Let's do that. Attack e5. Try to give him something to think about there. f4. Brutal. All right, let's take. Yeah, again, not really sure what's happening here. He's got the bishop coming to f5. I do not like that. Okay, well, let's do this. I might just take and play the knight back to d2. Ah, knight g5. I didn't see that. I keep missing his moves. I need a defender here. So now I can't move this knight. If I move this knight, I just lose instantly. Queen takes h2. So that presents a lot of defensive problems, as you can imagine. He's going to bring this here. Oh, no. All right. Please trade. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's a good move. Yikes. All right, I think I'm going to get killed, but I have 25 seconds, so I got to do something fast. Yeah, he can just do that, can't he? Yeah, this game's over. So I didn't properly deal with the threat on h2 in that game. I think my position was highly suspect when he was able to get the queen to h5, and I wasn't able to do anything in defense. Like, let's just check the eval. Yeah, slight edge black. That's bad news, because I'm getting attacked and I have no recourse. So maybe I have to figure out a different way to play against this g6 e5 setup. This is where my lack of experience in the London system is showing. Because I just went for the normal setup and he did something pretty aggressive and I didn't really know how to respond. So it happens. Let's just see in the final moments if I had any sort of defense. Knight g5 was very strong. Didn't see that coming. So he's trying to get rid of the defender of the h2 bishop. So I was forced to play knight c to d2 here. And if he piles up one more attacker on f3, my position is not going to be able to stand the strain. So that's why he played bishop d7. His idea is bishop to c6. So I tried desperately to parry that, but yeah, it's basically over. Minus 14 means you can resign under most circumstances. Intriguing. I'll have to remember this setup from the black side. Could be worth a shot. Hopefully the audio is not dropping. I do not want that to be the case. Hi, Coach. How's it going? I had visions of getting to 2,500 in 3 minutes for a split second after that last win, but yeah, Kyborg just crushed my dreams now. Difficult opponent. Probably underrated at 2,350. Thank you, Best Chobo. I don't know when I'll become a GM. I'm glad you think I have the talent for it, though. It's a long road, and I'm not playing the tournaments right now to have a chance to get my GM norms. Thanks, Thilo. Yeah, that was a great match against Niklas, and I agree. He was a good sport about it. It's not easy to lose by a wide margin in a dual commentary when hundreds of people are watching, but yeah, he was a very good sport about it. John, do you think Nakamura is an arrogant player? He posts on his Facebook that he's the world number 2, and world number 1 he's held position for only 2 weeks. Oh yeah, Nakamura is completely arrogant. I mean, I think everyone knows that. He's better than he was a while ago in terms of his behavior and the way he kind of shows it, but I mean, you can tell just by his antics online and the stuff that he says on social media and on chess.com every once in a while. I mean, the guy's ego is through the roof, which is, I mean, part of his personality. It's not something he should be ashamed of necessarily, but it does rub people the wrong way. Because with Nakamura, a lot of the stuff he says kind of in the heat of the moment, and to him it probably doesn't sound arrogant, but to a person who doesn't know how competitive the guy is, I think they might just get turned off to him completely. I said the same thing about Wesley So recently when he wrote that post on Lichess saying he was leaving the site and that he was put off by the cheaters that were on the site. That was like a rare moment where Wesley So kind of had an outburst, and usually Wesley So is very mild-mannered. He's a super nice guy, but he kind of just let that get the better of him for a moment. John, you think you would be able to beat Nakamura nowadays? No, not a chance. Nakamura would crush me at any time control. Thank you, Eli. All right, let's get back in there. Hi, Dhruv. How's it going with you? Glad you can make the stream. So I'm 2-1 so far in these games. Still above 2,400, but that last game hurt. Losing with white in 23 moves, just getting blown off the board. I had a bad feeling about my setup when he was advancing 3 pawns abreast here. E5, F5, G5. Nice pawn array by Kyborg95. Yeah, I kind of agree, Bubzadoozy. I mean, if everyone was very mild-mannered in chess, then it wouldn't be as interesting. So it is good to have people of different personalities. And I don't think in chess people are like way over the top. I mean, if Nakamura is the most extreme personality and on the extreme arrogant end of the spectrum, that's pretty mild, let's be honest. Okay, I'm playing the Scandi against Chess Parade. And I'm trying to stick with my main repertoire with A6. Who is this player? Carla Heredia Serrano. Aha, okay. Yeah, I think she's from Peru maybe, and she's studying in the U.S. Or was studying in the U.S. Could be out of school now. A lot of players don't know what to do against A6. Yeah, like this is a popular reply, but not supposed to be that good. Although I have faced this before in tournament play. In fact, this is how my game went. So let's go here. Then we'll play E6, just kind of controlling the D5 square. I can always plunk my knight on B4, which is a nice aspect of this line. Like if D5, knight B4 should just be a strong response. I don't think white wants to mess around with that. Let's actually play knight B4 and just see how she defends C2. Probably she'll play bishop B3. Yeah, she does. Let's go bishop E7. I'm not going to challenge the bishop on F4. I don't think I have to. Now, maybe knight D5. Or I could just castle. Let's castle. Kind of curious what F3 is about. Yeah, she's going to go after me. Now probably H4. Nope. No H4. Let's do this. I think I want to counterattack before she gets going with the kingside play. So my idea is if takes, I can take on D2 and white will forfeit the right to castle. I'll still have pressure on C2. Also, C4 is now a threat, by the way. So C4, bishop takes C4, take on C2 is one idea. Okay, so I can persist in trying to get in C4. Let's do that. Rook C8. I'm not going to take on D4 yet. That might be a decent idea as well, but I'm going to wait for a move and see if I have the option of c4 as well. Keep the tension. If she has demonstrated that she's not going to take, then I can probably keep the tension for another move. Here, bishop takes, knight d3. Is that anything? Probably not. Looks kind of odd. It's probably not really working anyways. This is a tough call. Close down the position or leave it open. I think I'm just going to go after that light square bishop. Plain and simple. I don't know, though. It's such a bad piece. But I think taking and then playing b5 is pretty good. I've got a nice bishop here. Maybe she can play h4, and if h5, knight f4, but I can take on g4 then. That should be okay for me. If I had more time, I might have thought about the ramifications of taking on d4 or even keeping the tension for a move, but I just don't have the time. Okay, this knight looks really poorly placed. I mean, queen a5. See what she does with it. Yeah, jumps it up. Okay, let's take and then play here. So knight d5 is always something I can follow up with now. If knight c3, I take there, so that's no good for them. Let's go here because I'm threatening this pawn over on f3. I kind of like that. Maybe queen c3. Yeah, queen c3 is a good reply that I missed. Knight d5, take. They can castle towards safety. I'm still going to do it. See what happens. Okay, I want to pitch one of these pawns and get my rooks into the game. So let's go here. Plays king d2. Probably smart. Probably got to defend that pawn. This is kind of awkward, though. I don't think I should have played it like this. Okay, let's play f6. Yeah, she's going to munch these pawns. Let's try to get our king a little closer. Try to attack this, I suppose. But yeah, my position is just bad now. Bishop d6, followed by going to c5, maybe? What is my bishop doing on c2? Gross. Oh boy, this is really bad. Yeah, this is resignable. Oh, that was terrible. Nice game to Chess Parade. Yeah, she played a good game down the back stretch of that game. I had a good position, but I blew it right around here. Queen b3 probably was not accurate. I think after queen b3, I probably lose my advantage. Most of it. Yeah, queen c3 and white's just holding. This position objectively might be equal, but it seems harder to play when she harder to play for black, that is, when she plays rook c5. Because her king has the option of going up to like c3, let's say, and attacking, and I don't really have a good reply to that. Hey Justin, glad you caught a stream. Yeah, I'm +3 right here, but I'm sure I missed something. How am I +3? That seems like a lot. Queen d5 right now is strong. Let me go to that position. So after the capture on a2, queen d5 would have been very good. Because that's also threatening knight takes g4, probably. Yeah, it's hard to hold that pawn, so if something like that, then this is good. Pawn takes, take the rook on h1. Yeah, that's over. But I give her credit. I mean, she played the second half of the game well and played quick and just outplayed me after rook c5. Like I said, I think this position is probably easier for white, even though the engine says it's dead equal. Because white's king is participating. How's it going, Aditya? Yeah, I have played blindfolded before. Frederickson. Can't see your name very well. I'm not sure, Hank. I've been streaming for a little while already, but I'll stream for a little while longer for sure. It's kind of part of the game, Liam. He's asking about opening theory and asking if I've been annoyed by the amount of it. It's just an aspect of chess that you get used to. No, not really, Downs. I'm not on a particular schedule. I used to post videos every day, but a few weeks ago I announced that I was going to stop doing that. So now I'm just posting videos when I feel like it and streaming when I feel like it. Hi, Moro. Yes, Justin, blindfold is a good way to get better at calculation and visualization, but if you're pretty low rated, I wouldn't suggest blindfold because it can be a lot. I played with I Am Selecki on Chess24. He was surprised by the margin you won against Huschenbett, Niklas. Yeah, I just might have Niklas's number in Blitz chess. It's completely possible. Of course, I should not beat him 5.5 to half, but he wasn't having a good day, and I didn't make many mistakes. Niklas is a stronger player than me, but in Blitz, it may be the case that I'm just better than him in Blitz. I don't think that's out of the question to say. John, what do you think about background music on during the stream? I don't really like it, and I don't want to get into copyright issues with certain background music, and I don't want to go through the trouble of trying to find free music to put on there either. Hey, Kazi, how's your road trip going? I know you're on a road trip across the U.S., and you're still tuning into a stream. That's amazing. Even though you're probably in Nowheresville, West Texas right now. Apologies if you live in West Texas. Nothing against it, but there's a lot of open space there. Eric is playing a blindfold simul. Wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive. Yeah, that sounds like pain, playing a blindfold simul. I'm not sure that's good for your mental health. I'm incredibly impressed by people who can do that. I tried that once. There's a video of me playing 3 games. I don't know how many Eric is doing, probably much more than 3. And I know strong GMs can do like 10 or more games. There's videos of Magnus doing such demonstrations. All right, let's play another game. I'm 2-2 so far. I got to improve. These last 2 games have been lackluster. I have not visited Mexico, Moro. I've been very close, like nearly on the U.S.-Mexican border. But I have not actually gone into Mexico before. I have been to Canada before. John, are you playing in the June Chess Castle that is FIDE rated? Probably not. I haven't even heard about that tournament, but probably not. The Castle is our local club here in Minneapolis. All right, Sentenza. You know what? When you're 2-2, you're having just kind of a lackluster day. You got to go to B3. You got to go to the Nimzo Larsen attack. And this guy, he wants to copy. He wants to employ my same strategy. Okay, he doesn't play F4 though. That's good. At least we can break the symmetry now. I'm gonna go for a double fianchetto if I can. I'm wondering if he'll take on F3. He doesn't. Because taking on F3 is not a bad strategy there. Okay, let's play C4. So we got kind of the pincer pawns on C4, F4 going. Experimental. Let's go knight C3 just so he can't play B5. I will probably play E3 and Queen E2 in the near future. I could play some D4, get into like some sort of janky hedgehog setup, but I don't think that's a good idea. I'm just going to play it like this and maybe crawl forward on the king side now. Yeah, in fact, let's do this. Offer a trade and then try to go G4, G5, etc. against Sentenza, which sounds like a mafia boss, by the way. Sentenza. Okay, G6, so he's trying to go bishop G7. D4, maybe? D4, D5? Nah, it seems incorrect, though. I mean, I'd like to discourage him from putting his knight on h5. But how to do that? I could play f5. Let's go f5, actually. See what he wants to do about that. He might just play bishop g7 and keep the tension entirely. No, he's going to strike back. Okay. All right, Sentenza. Let's see what you got. Looks to me like he's just gambiting a pawn. So if takes, I'm going to play knight takes, hitting his queen so he doesn't have time to take on a2. I would love to play a match with Simon Williams, Aditya. I will plan that. We will have that match at some point. All right, so I'm up a pawn. This is a really weird pawn structure. Experimental, if you will, but we'll see if we can make the most of it. I like my knight on b5 because his bishop can't come to g7 now. I'm attacking that pawn on d6. I wouldn't be surprised if he played a move like rook a6 or something to try to address that problem, because it looks awkward if he doesn't. I'm in fact threatening, maybe I could have done it on the previous move. I should have just taken on g6. My bishop and my rook would have been attacking there. That was a missed opportunity by me. For sure. All right, let's play e4. He's probably going to play knight b4. Knight c7. Okay. Logical. Let's take. Let's take here. Takes with a rook. Wow. Just allowing this and then knight up to d5 next. That cannot be good. He's going to need a handgun and a bathroom stall to get out of this one. Refer to chat for that reference. Okay, so I want to gang up on f7 ASAP. I can't play knight f6. Knight f6 would just be killer right away if I could, but queen f3? I mean, how does he defend? Hitting f7. His rook can't go to e7. Knight e5, I just take the knight. This looks over. Yeah, he resigns. So I think he got carried away with b5. There was no reason to play that move. If he would have just continued with his plan like bishop g7, kept the tension, then he should be fine. It's about equal here, yeah. b5, on the other hand, just kind of gifts me a pawn. But I messed up. I should have played... I mean, I could have done it even here. But after knight takes b5, queen moves, I should have taken one of the pawns. Probably g6, so if f takes e6, he can play rook takes e6 and defend the knight. But if I would have played f takes g6 here, I've got my rook and my knight attacking f6. So playing a4, this kind of reactionary stabilizing move, allowed him a chance to try to get out of that situation. But he still had troubles even here. Yeah, just down a pawn. We won a game. All right. Let's play another one. Try to build on that. 2392. Canada was all right. I was in Montreal when I visited. It was okay. Yeah, rook takes e6 was a mistake. You're right, Jack. If he had played, pawn takes, then, I mean, his position is still highly suspect, but it shouldn't be as bad. This allowing knight f4 with tempo. Most likely he just has to give the exchange. The engine is saying, yeah, rook e5, allowing even just bishop takes e5. Because my knight coming to d5 is so strong. Bits of coin. I remember playing this guy in a Slav or something recently. So let's see if we get the same thing. I think I remember him playing the Geller Gambit, e4. Maybe not. Maybe it's someone else I'm thinking of. So we'll play this Dutch variation. Pretty solid. Okay, we'll play bishop g6. And then castle. This line I think I can just take and play knight d7. As I recall, it's supposed to be fine for black. Let's go here. So he's got doubled e-pawns, which should give him some trouble. I'm playing this just to stabilize the bishop. Let's go here, get ready for knight c5, perhaps. Okay, so if h5, I wonder if he's going to go ahead with g4. And if I should even be scared of that. Nah, I shouldn't. So let's do that. If g4, take, queen b6, I guess he has bishop takes e6 maybe. But still, I don't feel like that's a correct approach for him. Well, let's go here. I'm not sure about this pawn structure. This pawn structure looks odd for him. And actually just downright bad. I feel like I can swap everything. Yeah, let's just trade. He's going to have some trouble defending that A pawn, I believe, in the endgame. So if rook takes d1, I'm just going to get ready for rook d8. I'm almost prepared to play take. He takes with the queen. Okay. Well, this is a no-brainer move. Now knight d3, try to get his bishop. There's also bishop d3, but knight d3 is the first move that comes to mind. Yeah, let's do that. If rook d1, probably take his bishop. Even though his bishop is kind of bad behind these pawns, I still would like to have the bishop pair, if I could. So let's take. If queen takes, I'm thinking trade, queen c5. He has queen d4 then, though. Maybe holding on. But then I can go win his a pawn at the very end of the line. So let's do that. So he may give a check and then play queen d4, just to drive my king away. Okay, so here's what I was thinking. Trade, take c3, and then bishop c2 at the very end, winning this pawn. I think I just picked that up unopposed. I could also play bishop c2 here. That might be cleaner. Nah, let's just play it in the simplified way. He could try f5 if he wants to kind of mess with things. So let's stabilize. So just picking that up. Now I think I can almost just run my a pawn. a3, king d2, a3 there. Still, I should play this. I think. This is going to force king c1. Now I got to get my king up. You know, he has breakthrough possibilities over here, though, that I must consider. Well, first let's do this. Maybe c5. We'll play b6 first. That just gets your bishop trapped. Yeah, now this bishop is not getting out. Okay, but maybe he's arguing that it's going to be hard for me to actually win the bishop. Which, indeed, you have a point. I think I see a way. Let's do that. So if he takes it, then king c7. So we go back, and now bishop a6, we can just take the bishop. Which I think he'll probably play. Because then he'll play king a2 and try to win my pawn, but I'm up a piece thereafter. So that just posed a minor conundrum at the end of the line, how to trap his bishop. It's stuck behind enemy lines, being able only to shuttle between a6 and c8. So, yeah, that looked like a decent way to do it. Play b4, and this bishop communicating, so king c7. The chat is discussing Jeffrey Zhang, who's playing very well in the U.S. Championship. 15 years old. He's awesome. I really love Jeffrey's style of play and how he's conducting himself in this tournament, too. I used to play the alto saxophone, Riley, back in junior high and high school. I enjoyed it, Thorinda. The Eric versus Naka 280-some bullet game marathon. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I kind of clicked through Eric's video, checked out various points. I think Eric won a little less than 20% of the games. It was tremendously entertaining. Very funny, Drew McGee. So this line, I think, is just not promising for white. Knight e5. Unless white has some sort of tactic down the d-file, which they don't, then you can't justify these doubled pawns. I think black is simply better in this position. And it's easy for black to play. There's no pawn breaks you have to worry about. This is a nice endgame victory. If he had not lost his bishop, it might have been difficult to win, though, is the thing. So I played b6, readying c5, but like one issue is if my king gets too far afield, he might try to break through on the king side. Like, let me just demonstrate. If we go to the endgame. Yeah, so let's say right about here. Let's say he plays bishop e2, and I don't know, maybe something like this happens. Take, take. I don't know, let's just say he's waiting. Let's say for some reason I bring my king all the way up like here. I mean, I have to contemplate what would happen if he goes g4 at some stage and then tries to force through h5. And if a trade there, what I'm going to do about the f7 pawn. Even this takes a lot of work from white, but that's something that may slow me down. So he could have defended better, but bishop a6 was a gift, after which his bishop is undeniably trapped. Do you think that the US will win at the Olympiad coming up? I'm not sure. With our three big guns, we've got a decent chance. Very good chance to do so. John, how do you justify Greg's trash talking? What do you mean by justify? Greg Shahadi just talks all the time, so honestly, I ignore him most of the time. Hey, Shanik, yes, I have been following the U.S. Women's Championship as well. There's been some cool games in that one, too. I think Nazi Pakidze and Tatev Abrahamian are tied for first right now. If not tied, they're the two top players at the moment. Tatev had a game against Anna Zatonsky, where Anna just dropped her queen right out of the gate, like on move 10 or something. Hey, John, if offered, would you work as a resident chess master at the St. Louis Chess Club? Yes, I would. I probably would. I don't know if they extend those positions to many non-GMs, though. Have you ever taken a long multi-year break from chess? I have not, no. Even when I've been fairly inactive with tournaments, it usually only goes for maybe 6 months or so. And I'm looking at chess, playing chess online in between those breaks. Nope, I haven't tried quantum chess, although I've seen the videos about it. It doesn't really look that interesting to me. For one thing, it's too confusing. Chess is complicated on its own, and quantum chess adds these, like, kind of weird rules. I do not think it'll catch on. Yeah, it's a good point, Wandering Wonder. Jen has had that, but Jen is clearly someone who's like a regular at the St. Louis Chess Club. I think they kind of, amongst the non-GMs, they have certain people they consistently invite, and if you're not one of those people, I think it's pretty tough. Let's say it's pretty exclusive. But then again, I've never asked them if I could be resident GM or IM. I guess it would be resident IM, so maybe they would be receptive to it. You never know. Drew, I am reading the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene right now, which is excellent. A lot of great advice, just for life in general. The book is about like war strategies and conflict strategies, but it gives a lot of great life advice. Not sure, Andrew. Don't have any GM norm tournaments on the agenda. You were going to bat for me, Lily? That's true. Jen is a WGM, but as far as pure chess potential, I mean, I have a higher rating than Jen, but she brings a lot of like great things to the club. I mean, she's one of the foremost people in promoting chess in the U.S., and she does an especially good job promoting chess to women and girls. So that's important. How similar are online ratings to actual ratings? Not too similar. I think for the standard categories on some of these chess sites, like chess.com especially, you're going to get a fairly close correlation. But for instance, like Lichess's standard ratings are not at all close to USCF ratings. They're way inflated. At least a couple hundred rating points. John, when are you going to crush Danny in chess rivals again? I'm not sure. We got to set one up. He does, Morrow. My brother does play chess, but not competitively. And he probably hasn't played for a few years at least. Someone was mean to who? On the broadcast? You have to remember that Maurice is a New Yorker. He's a brash New Yorker, so he's not like a mild-mannered Midwestern person like me. I don't think he would be intentionally mean to a little girl. Not little, but a young girl, let's say. John, have you ever played a Super GM in a tournament? I don't know if I've ever played someone who is actively over 2,700 at the time I played them. It's probably close. I mean, I played some strong 2,600s before. But I don't think I played someone who at the time I played them was over 2,700 FIDE, which is usually the cutoff for Super GM. I played Nakamura before, but he wasn't a Super GM at the time I played him. And it wasn't even a USCF or FIDE rated game. It was a US Chess League game. No plans at the moment, Zach. I'm not sure how high rated Naka was when I played him, Jack. I don't think he was 2,700. Because it was back in like 2009 or so maybe, and I don't think he was 2,700 back then. Maybe a little lower. Yeah, oh yeah, right. Good point, Shanik. I have played Wesley. I completely forgot about those games, actually. I played Wesley so twice here at tournaments in Minnesota, and he was definitely above 2,700 both times I played him. Thank you for reminding me about that. So yeah, to answer your questions earlier, I have. I don't know why I forgot that. LOL, John is dodging the questions about playing Eric Hansen. I'm not dodging anything, Andrew. That question has been asked like 100 times per stream, and I always answer it. Eric and I might play at some point, but neither one of us is like talking to each other about it. I mean, if you're asking me if I think I would lose to Eric Hansen in a match, then obviously the answer is yes. The guy's a better chess player than me, and he's better at Blitz and Bullet, for sure. Can you recommend a good mouse for Bullet? I use a like a noiseless gaming mouse. I'm looking at it right now, trying to find the brand. It's not a particularly good mouse, but I like it because the mouse clicks. You can't hear them too much on stream or in videos. But I don't have like a particular recommendation for a souped up gaming mouse or something. I'm not an active member of the Chess Castle, Justin. John, did you know ChessBra checked in when your stream failed? Yeah, I saw Eric in chat. Yeah, Paul, Simon and I have talked. We just haven't talked recently. I don't know what you're talking about, Lily. John, I just checked Naka's FIDE rating, and it looks like he was 2,700 plus in 2009, but I could be wrong. Wow. Yeah, so he might have been pretty high rated when I played him. I mean, he was definitely good. One thing I will say about that, uh, and this just kind of gives you an insight into Nakamura's personality. So when I played him in that game, and you can find it on the U.S. Chess League homepage. So I was white, and it was some sort of like semi-closed opening. I think I opened with knight f3 on move 1. I got a fine position out of the opening, but he outplayed me. And after the game, we were like, chatting, or he sent me a tell on ICC, and he was very critical of my play. He was like, dude, why are you playing for a draw? Why are you just trying to draw with me? And it wasn't like in a nice way either. It was like an antagonistic, arrogant Hikaru Nakamura way. And I was like, I'm just playing chess. You're 2,700. I'm like 24, whatever. I'm just playing chess. I wasn't like intentionally trying to draw you or something. I'm doing my best. And, he basically was like kind of mean about the whole thing. And I don't know. He said something he probably shouldn't have. But then he annotated the game for his website, and he was like full of praise for my play. Even though I lost the game, like it might even be still up on his website, but he was saying like, yeah, John played well, it was a good game and whatnot. So I thought that was very like two-faced of him to say that in the chat, like basically tell me I was playing scared or something, and then when he annotates the game, say something completely different when people are reading those comments. So I don't feel bad about mentioning this because, that's just the way Hikaru is. I don't even know that he thought it was the wrong thing to say, but if I just beat someone, I wouldn't, like, berate them for the way they played. That's kind of stupid. So, not a great personality trait. Okay, let's play another game. It's been a little while since I played a game. Stream's been going for a while. I've been doing okay in the last couple games, but let's see how it goes. Naka listens to Nickelback. No, let's be fair to Naka. He's a very good player. He has had some bad behavior in the past. He's gotten a lot better. I think he's a bit more image conscious now, but when he's playing chess, when he's in that mindset, he is a different person. And I can excuse some of his behavior for that. It's just, you kind of wish he could handle himself a bit better. But as I said earlier, if that's like the worst we have in the chess world, that's fine. He's just maybe a harsher personality than people would like. Hey, Enrico. I'm doing well. How about you? Maro wants me to play Al Pastor, which is e4 followed by queen h5. All right, playing Critter. Let's do this. Let's open with, let's play an e4 game against Critter from Brazil. He's going to play a Pirtz. Usually, yeah, black goes e5 thereafter. Okay, I'm going to play solid. Not going to get to thinking or doing too many crazy things. Let's play a4, just stop b5. Do I want to try to sneak d5 by him? I don't think that's a good idea, so I probably should not. Let's play h3 followed by bishop e3. Nice and simple. I'd like to play knight h4 to f5, but it may fail for tactical reasons. Actually, maybe I can do it. Let's do it. So if knight takes e4, I take, and then d6 will be hanging at the very end of the line. Yeah, so he just backs that up. I gotta watch a capture on d4. Let's take here first. Takes with a knight. Intriguing. I would not have expected that, but let's just do this. Getting ready for rook d1. He's going to bring his rook over to d8, guaranteed. I can almost take on h6 and just plow through. Take. It's probably not quite sound, though. Let's play a little waiting game. I'm going to get off the file, so d5 or something doesn't hurt. f4, I can push him back. He's trying to go b5. Yeah, let's go f4. And then bishop f3. He's coming with b5, though, undoubtedly. But you know what? I'm going to do this and try to hit f6. f6 is a tender point for him. So take g7, take d6. Probably not enough. Okay, let's bring this back. I know we're both doing some maneuvering. Trying to find a clear way forward, but it's not simple. Let's reroute this knight. Maybe bring it over to g3. It's a good plan. Possibly if I go to g3, I can get it up to h5 down the line. Maybe play b3, queen b2. Get the queen situated on the diagonal, attacking g7. Tony, you are late. Thanks, Jeff. Knight c5. Good move that I didn't see. Granted, I can take, though. Yeah, let's take and play e5. Try to keep him shut out. He's got to go c4, c5 probably to open his position up. Maybe c4 would have been a better move on the previous move for me. Let's go here. If f6, bishop h5, I believe is good. He wants into f5 maybe. Let's go g4. So we have a structural advantage on the queen side, but he possesses the two bishops, and I am opening my king a little with this g4 move. He's goading me into playing f5. I'm not going to bite for now. I'm just going to play this move. Let's take this way. Maybe he can use d4, but I might come charging with f5. We'll see. Bishop b3. Okay. Okay, let's take and play knight e4. Going after that c5 pawn. He has knight d5. But maybe here. Trying to get into d6. My queen is helping to defend f4. This is a bullet game now. We're getting low. Not threatening knight takes c5 now because of queen b6, though. Again, that weakness of my king could be a problem. Yeah, he's got some evil plans, especially on this guy. Let's do this. I may have to forfeit that a pawn. That pawn is a goner. Okay, let's go here. Let's bring this guy in. So I lost the a pawn, but otherwise I have pretty good pieces. So, lost f4. If he takes it with his knight, I have rook here, though. Knight d3. Knight d3 is killer. Ugh. Gross. Okay. He can take here now. Let's go here. Just doing my best to defend, basically. Trying to hold e5. Play off of his time. That's a good move by him. Yikes. He should take d2, probably. Okay, well, I have a chance. Probably not a great one, though. Oh, boy. Just go after h6. The Scandi Swindler strikes again. That was a total Scandi Swindler right there. He gave up both his queens on G3 and, no, sorry, F2 and G1 in quick succession. Because at the very end of a time scramble, it's all about who can check each other and force the opponent to play some other move than they intended to. So I just got killed at the end of that game on the board, but on the clock I somehow was able to make it happen. Hey, it wouldn't be one of my streams without something like this happening. I felt like I was doing okay up till maybe the time that he got knight d5 and queen a5 in. This is where his activity really started to show. Yeah, he's better here. I was trying to control the proceedings up to that point. Probably didn't choose a great setup. I think the bishop is better off on c4 in this line. I'm not sure why I developed it to e2. Bishop c4 is just a more promising way of playing this. I had to throw in queen g7 at the end. It's like the only move I could think of, and I knew he would have to burn some time taking the queen. That one was funny. I'm not proud, but a win's a win and no increment blitz. Okay, let's get back in there. This has been a good stream so far. Good mix of games and also talking to you guys. I really enjoy talking to you guys. Nice, Chris. I approve of your music selection. A Farewell to Kings by Rush. I like both, Paul. I don't have a clear favorite between Tupac and Biggie. I will say here there's a local station. It's like a 90s hip-hop station. And they have a clear preference for Biggie. Like, they always play Biggie and very few Tupac songs. Drive 105, if Anton is in the chat, knows what I'm talking about. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, those standard games are not going to completely disappear from my channel. I just haven't played them in the past couple weeks. There's a lot in the archive, though. If you haven't watched all of them, there's quite a few games in the archive for the 15-minute pool and whatnot. John, what is the worst opening you have ever seen someone play? Well, I caught someone in the two-move checkmate before. Fool's mate. It was actually a former governor of Minnesota, Arnie Carlson. All right, Sentenza again. And let's hit him with the Scandi. Ah, this line. This annoying line. I'm going to play this variation where I castle kingside. Knight f3 is a good move against the Scandi, though. You got to have it prepped if you play this opening for black. Which, if you don't know about it, you should check out my repertoire on chessable.com. Little plug. All right, let's drop back and defend this pawn. Not sure his bishop is that well placed on f4. In fact, I'm going to play c5 and try to get my knight up to c6. We should be doing well here. Maybe bishop... let's go bishop h5. I was thinking about bishop f5 for a second. I don't want to take on f3 when he can recapture with his bishop and threaten the pawn on b7. There are some Scandi lines where you do play bishop takes f3, but it has to be for a specific reason. Like in one of the main lines of the queen d8 Scandinavian, you do play that, but it's in order to attack d4, remove a defender of d4 when you do. That would not have been a case where parting with the bishop would be good. Queen a4. I want to attack f2. I can do that with queen b6, but it's not quite winning or anything. Queen b6, he just plays bishop g3 is the issue. Knight d5 doing anything? Nah, not really. Okay, let's just play a6, getting ready for b5. Yeah, I know I said that nonchalantly, Drew. I was on a program called Almanac after I won a national tournament when I was in like ninth grade. I think it was after I won the national high school tournament, and it's a local program, and I got to play the former governor. He was on there on the same program that night. It was cool. Okay, let's proceed as planned. B5. He cannot sacrifice the bishop because after all that happens, I have queen b6. So let's just do this now. Probably he'll put the rook here. I can always play bishop c2 and kind of mess with him. Nah, I don't want to do that yet, though. Let's do this first. His queen looks kind of odd on h4. I'm not sure if he really wants that. I want to go knight e4 or something to really mess with him here, but it's not quite possible. Knight e4 does hit the rook, but it's not doing enough. I'm still going to play it, though, because it is a good and useful move. Can't knock the queen off balance so easily. Rook d8, he's going rook d1. Okay, let's just repeat for a moment. I'm going to try to set him up. Rook d6, queen c7. And if rook d1, I have knight d5. He has queen g3, perhaps, though. That may save him. He finds it. Knight here, threatening knight f5. I think that works. If rook takes d5, I can always take g3 first. I don't think he saw knight d5, but he had this saving resource nonetheless. Knight c8 loses control of c6. All right, where's my move? I'm going to go over here. I don't want to fall too far behind on time. That's the problem here. Not sure what rook c8 really does for me, though. Doesn't help much. Bishop d3. Okay, let's go here. Let's take this way. That's risky, though, with this queen being able to come to h4. Yeah, I should not have done that. Yikes. Okay, I'm going to bring this back. Try to go knight f6 if necessary to hold h7, but that was a mistake by me. Should never have even messed with that h takes g6 move. I have a bad habit for doing that move in particular. He doesn't seem to know what to do, though, which is great. He's got to make a move. I'm going to go here. He doesn't know what to do. He's going to lose on time. I'm just playing some move because, yeah, he loses on time. Wow. Well, if he would have kept his foot on the gas right there, right around the time queen g3 was played, I would have been under serious pressure because I was floundering for a move when I played rook fc8. It seems like I should win his rook, but I don't think I can. Let's just see right here. Knight d5 is pretty, but trying to sever the coordination between the two rooks, but there's no substance there, right? Like just queen g3. Here, he covers f5 because I was threatening knight f5. The position's just equal according to the computer. Knight c8 would force a queen trade. Yeah, it's not much happening, but he just took too long in a good position at the end. I had to play something over here because queen h4 is always a big threat. I mean, even if he gets it in, I might not technically get mated because this knight, after king f8, this knight can always come back to g8, but it's very suspect. And if my king has to go to f8, he might have a knight takes e6 fork idea on the king and the queen, so that's bad news. I don't listen to much ABBA. Paul, sorry to disappoint you. John, do you think Carlson is good as a world champion? Yes, I do. I think he's been a pretty good world champion. We could have a lot worse. Lot worse. Not worst. Someone is asking about Atmosphere. I'm not a huge fan of Atmosphere, but I mean, I have listened to a bit. Nope, don't listen to metal. Really glad to hear that, Mussolini. Yeah, thanks. That's pretty heartfelt. So, yeah, glad my videos could be of some help to you. And I'm glad you're doing well. It sounds like you're on the up and up, so keep it up, man. John, who's your favorite chess player and why? I would say Karpov because I've learned the most from his games. Yeah, Rush could be qualified as progressive metal or something. I mean, I think of them more so as progressive rock, classic rock. Hey, John, is there any news about Chessable subscriptions opening for EU members? Yeah, we had an issue with this tax that is placed on members of the EU that makes small transactions prohibitively expensive for small sites. It's called VATMOS if you want to research it. So we've had some issues, especially with small transactions for European customers, unfortunately, we're trying to work through. It's affected a lot of small businesses in the EU. Good night to you, Josie. I like listening to classical music every once in a while, Gwen. No composers or anything in particular, but there's so much classical music on YouTube. Like if you Google or put in the YouTube search bar classical music for studying or classical music for relaxation, you'll find 9-hour or 10-hour videos uploaded. Just all classical music. You can just throw one on. Hi, John. How far up are you planning to continue the Tactics in the Ladder series? Probably up to 2200. What is your favorite Tupac song? Tupac song? I'll go with California Love because it's so iconic and it's a good one. I have seen your question, Dirty Dan. It's kind of a troll question, so I'm not going to answer it. Favorite opening for a beginner? Don't really have one. As white, you should probably play e4 and get used to open games. Also, another Tupac song I like is I Get Around. It's a good one. I don't know why I said Tupac. I was weirded out by seeing it spelled Tupac instead of like the number 2. I don't know why that affected my pronunciation of it for some reason. Justin, you know the opening that is best for black. You know the answer to that one. Okay, let's play one more game, then I'm going to answer a few questions and probably be done for tonight. But one more game, let's do it. When you play Chess Rivals, it would be fun to see you play 2 15 plus 10 games sometime instead of the 3-minute games. I'll run that by Danny and see if he ever wants to play any longer games. We've stuck to Blitz and Bullet for the most part, actually exclusively. So it may be a good change of pace. Fred, I play a lot of Slava's Black, yes. I wouldn't say it's my favorite necessarily, but it's what I play the most against d4. How Do You Want It is also a great Tupac song. Okay, Machine Gun. All right, I got to be on the ball on this one. All right, let's play c4. This usually transposes into the Zurich variation after e6. But no, okay. Well, let's do this, see what he has in mind. Some craziness. So he's just going to let me chase around his knight, basically. d5, well, I'll just play knight c3. I mean, technically I should just be a lot better after all this. Wonder if at knight e5 I can take it, because that would be really cool. Take, bishop takes d1, bishop b5 check. Yeah, he's not going to risk it. But, okay, let's take with a pawn. I mean, this should be tremendous for us. Let's give a check here. If knight e7, f5. You gotta be heavy-handed with this dude because he's fast in time pressure and he's quite tricky. So I want to make him think and put him to some tricky decisions right off the bat. Okay, so here, f4, he's going to go c6 is what he's telling me, but that still loses a piece. Like just bishop back to e2 now, probably? Yeah. This knight is trapped. He's got to go e6 or something to make it interesting. This is terrible for black. This is just awful. Queen takes d5 looks simple here. Actually, check also looks good. Let's go queen takes d5, though, with bishop b5 in mind. Yeah, let's just do this. He has to go a6 now. I think I'm just going to swap. Bishop c4 would have been strong, too, just attacking f7, but he resigned. Okay, well, that game was a massacre. Yeah, do not repeat that opening that black just played. Knight c6 is fine on move 1. It's playable, because if d5, there's knight e5. It's analogous to the Alekhine's defense against d4, but after knight f3, black should really play d5, and after knight f6, probably d5 is good right here. I just played c4, and again, black should do something with the center pawns, like e6, followed by bishop b4. But he decided to play d5, which is with a center pawn, to be fair, but after this is akin to the Marshall defense, where after the capture, black just doesn't have any support in the center, so you can push him around with your pawns. Yeah, and his pieces were never comfortable. His knights were just dancing around, and after f4, I don't know if he can save the knight. Knight h4 is probably the only move that does it, but I can play queen g4, attack him. Yeah, the position is probably just lost here. It's like +3. So that was a quick game, so I think we should play one more. What do you guys think? One more game? Would you rather live one life that lasts 1,000 years or live 10 lives that last something? I couldn't see how long that was. Probably the 10 lives, because if you lived one really long life, you'd have to go through the pain of seeing all your loved ones die around you. That doesn't sound like fun. And you could do a lot with 10 different lives. That would be kind of interesting. All right. The crowd has spoken. One more game. One more game. We're calling it a wrap. Maybe answer a few questions. Whoa, I put 1 instead of 3. I almost entered the 1-minute pool by mistake. This will be the last game, even if I lose. So there's a lot of pressure. Can you recommend a repertoire book covering the white side of the Queen C2 Nimzo Indian? Is Vigorito's book from 2005 still relevant? From a theoretical point of view, no, it's not relevant anymore. That's way too much time. 10 years in opening theory terms is a lifetime. I don't know. I think the Kaufman repertoire books recommend that line for white. And I mean, there's a couple books here and there, like Christoph's books. Obviously, his book obviously talks about Queen C2, but he recommends the Zurich variation only, so you won't find coverage of other moves. So I don't think so. I don't think there's a book out there that I'm aware of, at least, that has very up-to-date coverage of the Queen C2 Nimzo. Jeff, you should follow me on Twitter. That's the best way to get notifications for my streams. I always tweet when I'm about to go live. And you can also enable notifications here on YouTube in the channel settings. There's a way to do that. Someone might be able to walk you through that in the chat. Okay, so we're playing a Vigdor 3 from Israel. Should I go d5? Seems a little early, but I'm going to try it. So if he takes, I'm going to go knight d4 is my idea. I'm trying to block out this bishop. This is a kind of a peculiar looking way to play, but I think it's okay. Okay, so he's going to take me up on the challenge. So knight d4 or knight h4? Knight h4 comes to mind. Maybe knight h4 is better. Yeah, let's do that. I want to ensure that I can win back this pawn. So hitting his pawn on f5, trying to get him to play g6 so I can play e takes d5 next. And actually, if he castles here, I have d6, which would win material, wouldn't it? Okay, so he does that. Is there any way I can play this dynamically? None that I see, so I'm going to go back. Bishop h6 would stop him from castling, but something about it doesn't look right. So let's go knight c3. I think I'm going to play bishop h6 and offer him the c3 pawn. See if he wants it. He does not want it, at least not right now. e4. e4 followed by rook e1. That looks like the way to go. e4 take, rook e1, knight c5, though. And he's going to slow me down in the center. I wish I could just tear open the position right now. Well, no, let's do this. This might be good. So if takes knight d2, I'm thinking. And then try to go after e4. His king's in the middle. We got to attempt to exploit that. So when your opponent's king is exposed out in the open, look for your pawn breaks. That's your bread and butter. Rook e1. Nah, let's just recover the pawn. Can't take too much time. d6 still not working, probably. Yeah, he's just going to try to hide his king. Let's go queen d3. Ah, bishop a6. I missed bishop a6. Glad he didn't play it. Because then I would have perhaps had to play c4 and lost my rook on a1. Let's go h4. Attempt to go h5 very soon. He wants the queen in here, I guess. Let's bring this over. Just putting some pressure on the bishop. He's playing quick. Quicker than I am. Rook takes e4. I can always take with the rook. I don't know why I'm afraid of this exchange sack, but he might think about it to destroy my bishop somewhere. Plays rook there instead. Okay. Let's do this. Maybe bishop g5 next move. Yeah, he's going to sack. I think I can actually take with a rook, so I'm going to do that. So if bishop takes d5, there's rook e7, which is quite nifty. I think that wins his rook in the corner. Whichever way he takes, queen takes d5, and... Oh no, I guess he can do that. Okay, that was a miscalculation. Complete miscalculation. He can take with the king. Is that good, though? Okay, check, king f8, check there. I gotta go for this. Check. Wow, is he gonna escape here? Take. He might just escape. I'm low on time. All right, I got to take here, I think. Check. Check. He can block with his rook. I miscalculated. Rook e7 was so flashy, it just didn't work. Did not work at all. Trying for rook f4. Scandy Swindler one more time, guys, for the end of the stream. Check here, king here. No queen trade yet that I see. Maybe my king on h2 would be good. Rook f7 is an idea. Whoa, he drops that. Okay, let's bring these pawns up. We're advancing f5 ASAP. F6. See what he does. Right, getting ready to check on g7. Okay, woo. Wipe the sweat off my brow. Yeah, the Scandy Swindler strikes again. Well, his king was exposed in the center of the board there, and I was able to take advantage. But I got to admit, I completely missed that king takes e7 was possible. I was ready for bishop takes e7 or queen takes g7, queen takes d5 check with the fork on the king and the rook. But this came as a complete shock that he could just do this. And then after rook e8, even though I get this check, he can't play king d8 because I have check on a8, queen c8, rook takes e8, winning everything. But after bishop f8, even though all my pieces are near his king, I don't think there's a win here. There's a draw at best, according to the computer, which I didn't manage to find. Ah, okay, he could have taken with the queen instead. And here I was just trying to keep material on board, so I had a chance in the time scramble. And he blundered rook f7, although perhaps his position... yes, he has queen e8, defending f7. And I didn't have much time to try to win this, but I just advanced my kingside pawns, and he was unable to cope with the f-pawn. Got to create a pass pawn in that scenario. All right. YQB, it's probably Power Windows. Classic Rush album. Yes, Coach Amur, that's right. Thanks for tuning in, Justin. Have I ever beaten a GM OTB with the Scandy? I believe so. There's not any particular games that come to mind, but I'm pretty sure I have. Maybe not, I don't know. That would be kind of weird if I hadn't, given how much I'd played that opening. I've drawn many GMs with the Scandy, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I can't think of a game off the top of my head. Thanks, Chris. No, Ross, no tournaments coming up. I'm tossing around a couple ideas, but nothing firm yet. I have an Asus desktop, Justin. That's kind of personal, Semi, so I'm not going to answer that. I believe in the golden rule. Thanks, Gautam. I'm thinking about the Chicago Open. I don't think I promised I was going to the Chicago Open. I probably won't grow a full beard now, sorry. Bye, Fred. course, Justin. Everyone does from time to time. As I said, D. Hector, I don't have any firm plans to play any tournaments right now. I will play something. Actually, I am playing a tournament in Minnesota in August. I've committed to the Twin Ports Open up in Duluth, Minnesota, but nothing beyond that. Yeah, Ebo, these streams get auto-uploaded, so right after I kill the stream, it'll get uploaded. John, what's your advice on how to get out of a rating plateau? I would take a hard look at your games and see if you can identify typical mistakes that you're making. One thing that happens is people try to play their way out of a rating plateau. They figure that variance will just allow them to progress at a certain point, and you don't want to be playing too many games. Many people just have a higher volume of games than they should. You should be playing long, serious games, and if you're not sure what's going on in your games and you're not sure why you're not making progress, you should probably tone it down a little bit and try to analyze those games and really get to the heart of the problem. I've only streamed on YouTube, John. YouTube has been the only site I've done it on. I have a Twitch account, but I haven't used it. Nothing major to report on, Daniel. I'll let you know if so. Let's check. Oh, hi, Nikki Corba. I just noticed you in chat. Hello to you. Nikki is you're an NM, right, Nikki? What's your rating? From California? Promising young player. Whoa, I went on a tear at the end of this session. So I started against Sauerkraut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-2 this session, not bad. We got killed by Kyborg. That was my worst loss, I think. Chess Parade also played a nice game. She beat us in kind of a semi-end game. Not bad otherwise, though. Definitely a swindle here and there thrown in. What's the best list looking like? I don't think I'm close to being on the best list, but maybe. Oh, actually, I am on the best list. Surprising at 24-31. Not bad. I will take it. How many games do you think the average GM has lost in their lifetime? Oof, that's hard to say. Thousands. Definitely thousands. If they play online, easily in the thousands. Probably for many tens of thousands. What's your favorite hobby or interest outside of chess? I don't have one single thing outside of chess that I spend a ton of time on. So I would say that chess is my one big passion in life. Although I do have lots of other interests. The door being slightly ajar bothers people for some reason. There are many people who comment and say, why do you leave the door slightly ajar? So I might just keep doing it to mess with people. Yeah, Greg's been playing well in the 5-minute pool on ICC lately. I see that. I don't know when we'll play a match. We haven't talked about it. I'd like to play some matches with new people. Because I've already played Greg. I played Niklas twice. I wouldn't mind playing Christoph again. But I'd like to play with some new people, get some new blood in the mix. I do not de-Hector. I don't have a study plan, study routine at the moment. Never been target shooting. Nope. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy your Saturday night, if it's still Saturday night where you're living. Otherwise, enjoy your Sunday. And as always, thanks, guys, for watching. I'll be back again soon with more videos and live streams. Bye, guys. Talk to you later.